Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really fundamental concept that helps an AI learn how to master a task. It's called policy iteration. So let's jump right in.
All right, so let's start with the big question. How does an AI, maybe one playing a game, figure out the perfect strategy? I mean, when there are just tons of possibilities, how does it find the absolute best way to act? We're not just talking about a good strategy here, we're talking about the optimal one.
So, the central challenge in this whole field of reinforcement learning is finding something called a policy. Now, you can just think of a policy as the AI's master plan or its rulebook. And the real trick, the whole goal, is to find that one single policy that racks up the most reward possible over the long haul.
Okay, so a policy is basically just the agent's strategy at any given moment, whatever situation it's in, and in AI we call that a state. The policy tells it exactly what to do next. It's kind of like a GPS giving you turn-by-turn directions. But how do we find the best directions, the absolute optimal route? Well, that's where policy iteration comes into the picture.
You know, to really wrap our heads around this, let's step away from all the AI jargon for a second. We're going to use a super simple, everyday analogy that'll make this all click.
Okay, picture this. You're in a brand new city. Your goal is simple, but let's be honest, it's pretty important. You're trying to find the best, quickest route to a new, amazing coffee shop. And getting that delicious coffee, that's your reward. You want to get there as efficiently as possible.
So, in our little city analogy, every intersection you come to is a different state you could be in. And your plan, which way you decide to turn at each of those intersections, well, that's your policy. It's your current game plan for getting that coffee.
But you've got to start somewhere, right? So initially, your plan is just a complete guess. It's totally random, a messy, inefficient route that probably has you going in circles. But the crucial thing here is that this is just step one. This is our starting point. We are definitely not sticking with this bad plan for long.
This is where policy iteration works its magic. It takes that terrible random plan and improves it using this really powerful repeating two-step process. I like to think of it as a little dance of self-improvement, and it's a dance with just two steps. The two steps are super simple: policy evaluation and policy improvement. Or to put it another way, grade the plan and then write a better plan. First, you figure out how good your current plan is. Then you use that information to make it better. That's it. You just do that little two-step dance over and over and over again.
Okay, so step one is policy evaluation. This is the grade your plan part. And to do this, we use something called a value function. All that means for our coffee quest is that we're going to give a score to every single intersection in the city. A really high score means that intersection is on a great path to the coffee shop, at least according to our current, probably terrible, map.
And here's something cool. This whole idea of scoring an intersection, it's really the intuition behind the famous Bellman equation. Don't worry about the math, the idea is simple. It just means the grade for where you are now is basically the reward you get right away, plus the grade of where you're going to go next. That's it. You're just thinking one step ahead.
All right, so now we get to step two, policy improvement, the write a better plan step. We've gone through and given a score to every single intersection based on our old, kind of clunky map. So now, we can use those scores to draw a much, much smarter map.
Here's how it works. At every single intersection, we stop and look around. We ask, hey, is there a better turn I can make from here? So if our old map told us to go north, which leads to an intersection with a score of, say, 5, but we look around and see that turning east takes us to an intersection with a score of 8, well, what do? We update the map. We change the rule for that intersection to go east. We're just greedily picking the best-looking option from right where we stand.
So you see the dance, grade the plan, improve the plan. What happens when we put those two steps together and just let them run on a loop? We create this amazing upward spiral, a powerful cycle of continuous improvement. So let's walk through it. We start with that totally random map. Step 1, we evaluate it. We grade every intersection. Step 2, we improve it. We find all the better turns. And now we have a new map that's a little bit better. So what's next? You guessed it. We do the whole thing all over again. We grade the new map, and then we improve that one.
So our very first map, our first policy, it's a complete mess. It's inefficient. It probably takes us all over the city. We might not even find the coffee shop at all.
But then, after just one trip through that two-step dance, one round of grading and improving, something amazing happens. Our new route is guaranteed to be better than the old one, or at least just as good.
we've already started weeding out some of the really dumb turns.
We just keep repeating that process. Grade, improve. Grade, improve. And eventually the loop settles down. It converges. Our policy becomes stable. What that means is, when we go to improve the map, we find there are no improvements left to make. The map doesn't change anymore. And at that exact moment, we know we've done it. We've found the optimal policy, the absolute best route to that coffee.
Okay, so after all of that, if there's just one thing you take away from this about policy iteration, what should it be?
It all boils down to this really beautiful, simple cycle. Grade your current plan and then improve your plan. You just keep doing that until it can't get any better. That, in a nutshell, is the entire idea behind policy iteration. And you know, this powerful process of evaluation and then deliberate improvement, it isn't just for AIs trying to find coffee.
It kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it?
How could you apply this same structured thinking, this simple two-step dance of grade, then improve, to fine-tune your own routines, your own habits, your own decisions?